Okay, I'm with Steve Hench of the Kentucky Rifle Association. He's from Lancaster, PA, and he's explained this long rifle he has.
Yes, this is a Kentucky long rifle. The maker is Henry Walter, and it's dated 1804 on a silver plaque on top of the barrel. I'll let you zero in on that so you can read it.
Okay.
All right, so we know when the rifle was made and by whom. And this is a time period when the rifle has really evolved. You'll notice there's a great amount of silver, some with piercings. We have a quarter moon or a man in the moon. We have a horseshoe scroll back here. We have a cone plate. We have a patch box with hearts, weeping hearts, and several piercings. And on the underside, we have a long toe plate with the patch box release. And I'll press this button, and that loosens the box to open the lid.
Wow.
And out along the forestock are silver inlays running the whole way out towards the end of the barrel.
Wow.
And on this side, the cheek side, you have corresponding inlays, the weeping heart, the half moon, inlays that correspond to the other side of the stock. You have a federal eagle. At that time, that was a very popular motif. And you have additional silver mounted here, and then you have a small amount of relief carving. Now, by this time, makers were starting to get away from the carving and focusing instead on the silver ornamentation or brass ornamentation by using metal as decoration, as opposed to carving. And this rifle, made as a flintlock, still has its original rifling, if you'd care to get a close-up of that, which is rare for most rifles.
Wow.
Most rifles have either lost their rifling through being bored out, or many of these were made as smooth rifles. They were not rifled, and somebody could get them rifled later on, or they just became versatile to use as a buck and ball gun, or close range they could shoot a single ball with a patch.
Oh, okay, wow.
But this is an exceptionally long, graceful gun.
Right. How long would that be, Steve?
I'm going to take a guess without my tape, which I have in my pocket, and it's probably got about a 45-inch barrel.
Okay.
So if we add about 15 inches, we'd be looking at about 5 feet.
Wow.
And if you care, I will use my tape measure and
try to measure that
out.
out.
A barrel length to see if my eye is still working. And I was a little off. It's 43 and a half. And but again, this is. I would like to mention for your viewers that today we collect these artifacts for two reasons. One is the historic aspect that they carry, but also the aesthetic value, the artistic value. And that's one of the great things about Kentucky rifles is the artistic elements that were employed. A gunsmith, especially in the earlier period, had to work in iron, he had to work in the various metals, he had to be able to engrave like a jeweler.
Wow.
He also had to be able to work with wood and wood chisels and all of the other tools to do the inletting and for the barrel, etc. So he worked in all of those mediums, and occasionally when you find a day book or a journal from a gunsmith, you find that he did other things for the community, repaired metal objects, repaired occasionally some wooden objects. So he really was a master of many trades. And so today, and I'll mention for your viewers, the term Kentucky long rifle is what we all use.
Right.
However, the vast majority were made in Pennsylvania and some of the other states, Maryland, Ohio, and Virginia, and North Carolina, and even down into Georgia. But the name Kentucky started out when the land in Kentucky was being settled, and they took these boats down the Ohio, which were then often referred to as Kentucky boats, and then they started to coin the term because they were all carrying rifles or guns, and they referred to them as Kentucky rifles, and the name just stuck.
Name stuck. Wow.
And today we call them that, even though Henry Walter also came from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and by the way, this is a curly maple style. Which has, sometimes people call it tiger maple, but you can see it has a nice brownish orange finish and striping. Again, people like to refer to this as tiger striping, but it really is curled maple.
Wow.
And other woods have curl in them too. It has to do with the growth of the tree.
Well, thank you, Steve, for showing us that. We appreciate that.
My pleasure.